see that scientist out in front of mast, staring at trees, sounds upset? Whatever it is, it can't be that bad, right?
One day, I'm gonna leave New Atlantis.
Avoid at all costs. Not.
I'm sorry, I really can't afford to be distracted. I need to get to the bottom of this. I am not staring, I am analyzing. This is important xenobiological work. I work for the scientific division of MAST. I've been studying this tree for quite some time, and it appears to be exhibiting some worrying signs. Are you familiar with this particular specimen? Do you understand its importance? Look, I have a lot of work to do here. If you're just going to gawk, I'd ask that you move on. If you can actually assist me, however, I would appreciate it. I don't normally solicit help from random passersby, but it seems an exception is necessary. Would you be willing to retrieve some additional data for me? Well, thank you. That's unexpected. There's a series of biosensors I've placed in various locations around New Atlantis, all calibrated to gather pertinent information. They've been running for long enough that I think it's time to collect and analyze their findings. If you would bring them to me, that would save time.
Hey, are you looking for eggs too? I've only found one so far, but I want to find more before anyone else does. So if you see some, can you tell me? Yeah, it was. Weird, right? Miss Seng over at UC Distribution bought the one I found, and she said she might buy more if I can find them. I could really use the credits.
Bulk items may require multiple levels of approval and can take up to several weeks for an official response. We apologize for any delay. Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? Who, Jordan? That kid's in here every other day with some random thing he found, trying to get credits. Yeah, I took pity on him. Why, what is it? Oh, really? Well, you can have it back for what I paid for it, plus a little extra. Let's call it a convenience fee, shall we? Geez, fine. Just take it. It's not worth the trouble. You're always welcome back, if you don't mind a bit of a wait.
Don's Roost sure makes a great steak. I'd eat there every day if I could afford it.
How are things going?
It's been a grind.
I have a feeling today's going to be a great day.
I really do need that additional data. I don't mean to be pushy, but I really do need those sensors, and quickly.
Recent scans of the tree have suggested that a significant portion of the interior is liquefied. Obviously, some small percentage of its internal workings is always liquid to allow for the transfer of nutrients and so forth, but this, well, I've never seen anything like it. If it continues to increase, I'm concerned the entire tree may collapse, and I'm also worried about other secondary effects.
I initially suspected the same thing. However, upon inspection, that conclusion seems unreasonable. This species of tree, while rare, is not entirely dissimilar to other trees in the area. If a parasite were to be feeding on this species, I would expect the other trees to exhibit this strange behavior as well. In any case, I'll have to analyze all of the data to be sure.
It's too soon to speculate. I'd very much like to see the additional data before I say more. If the time comes, I will certainly attempt to alert the appropriate people en masse. If I have more data, though, my concerns might carry some more weight. Yes, well, it's a tree that just happens to exist in the center of the city in which I live, and these changes may have effects on, well, who knows what. Perhaps you could focus on collecting that data before we dismiss the situation entirely. So you do. Wonderful. I'll just take these, and we'll see what they have to tell us. All right, we'll just upload the data. Give it a moment. And just another moment. It is working, isn't it? Ah, there it is. What a relief. Now, let's see. This is... well, it's... oh my. Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that my suspicions were correct. There is something wrong with the tree. I will report my findings to MAST immediately with no small amount of satisfaction. The phrase, "I told you so," may even be uttered more than once.
Yes, I must admit it feels good to be vindicated. People can be so stubborn when it comes to plant life. It takes a botanist to truly understand that the well-being of plants is directly tied to the well-being of humans. But I digress. Let's get back on track.
The bad news, as it were, is that the internal composition of the tree is changing. In this particular case, the tree is now regularly emitting ultra-low frequency sound waves. They're nearly imperceptible now, but they're growing in strength. This is something we've never observed before. Depending on how large these waves grow, consequences for the city could be disastrous. I must consult with my colleagues in MAST at once. Thank you for your assistance. I hope these credits are adequate compensation. Ah, well, isn't this a pleasant surprise? I hadn't expected to run into you again. Indeed I am. The success of my previous venture, with which you so kindly assisted, has been brought to the attention of MAST. There is growing concern. Oh my, a bit of an unintentional pun, isn't that? Well, concern that things are going to get worse. The data we gathered points to a definitive trend. The vibrations coming from this tree are increasing in strength and frequency. Because we've never seen this before, not on this scale, we have absolutely no idea what the upper limit is. We don't know when or even if this will stop. It's imperceptible by normal human standards now, but given time. While I hesitate to speculate on the possibilities, well, none of them are good. I am attempting to formulate one, yes. But until I have all of the relevant information, it is impossible to do so. There is data regarding other, younger members of the species. Unfortunately, there are some, shall we say, personal issues with acquiring it. Personnel issues, if you understand me. Not necessarily, but if you're offering your services, you've certainly proven to be reliable help in the past. One of the other researchers in MAST, Emilio Hadek, has research I believe could be vital to my work here. He and I don't see eye to eye, and so far he's refused to turn it over to me. I'm hoping that if someone else were to ask, he might be more inclined to relinquish it. What do you say? He's held a grudge against me for years. It's petty, really. I'm sure he thinks that doing this now will hold back my career. He wouldn't listen when I tried to explain this isn't about me. There are bigger concerns. That would be a miracle. Emilio may work for MAST, but he's not much of a scientist. I dare say you're 10 times the scientist he's ever been. In any case, whether you open his eyes or not, I need that data. The last I saw of Emilio, he was collecting samples in the field. He shouldn't be hard to find. Good luck, friend. That data is vitally important, and I'm confident that you'll be able to retrieve it.
Mind your step. Important research happening here. Could you stand a little to the left? I think you're blocking my readings. Trees. I see what's going on here. You're working with Kelton, aren't you? Nice try, but it's not happening. No. No way. Kelton is actively ruining my career. There's no chance that I'm helping him with anything. Whatever this thing is he's on about, he's just doing it to make himself look good with the higher-ups. I'm not helping him with that. Kelton screwed me over good. Probably ruined my chances for advancing in Mast. I'm not going to forgive that, ever. Oh yeah? You think so? Wow, thanks for that. I'll really give it some thought. He really won't let this go, will he? Maybe I can make this work in my favor. Okay, you know what? I'll hand over the data. But I'm only going to do so after you've helped me secure a better position in Mast. Oh, don't worry. You're just going to erase some files for me. Make sure I look good next time promotions get passed around. Wait, really? Wow. Okay. Okay. I've gotten a few bad performance evaluations in the last couple of years. Totally unjustified, incredibly unfair. I found a backdoor into the Mast network so I could make some changes to my personnel file. But it turns out the chief engineer knows what she's doing. The only way to get access is from the terminal in her apartment, which is kind of locked. Sorry, that's not on the table. Someone else can spend time examining shrubs then. Not my problem. From where I'm standing, kinda seems like it is. I'm not a bad guy, I swear. I just really need this promotion. Okay, look. Just hear me out, all right? I really need this to happen. If you do this for me, I can make it worth your while. You delete that data, I get promoted, I'm pulling in a bigger salary. I can compensate you. I'll throw in some extra credits for you, okay? A nice little bonus. But first, you need to get into the chief engineer's apartment. Oh, good. Thank God. You really had me on the ropes there. Listen, this will be good for the both of us, okay? Just get in, access her terminal, delete the files, and get out. Really simple. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just, pretty much everything in my personnel file. Most of it is fine, of course. I'm good at what I do. I just received a few very unfair reviews recently, and I figure, why not start over completely? Not much experience with government bureaucracy, huh? The Mast network is running off hardware that is decades old. They don't upgrade anything unless it's absolutely necessary. This will just be one entry in a long list of mild annoyances that aren't worth following up on. It's kind of amazing, really. Between you and me, as little as possible. I'm just kidding, of course. I work really hard at my job. Studied in computational bioscience, did some time in agrogenetics. These days, I just help out wherever I can. Waiting for a good opportunity. Maybe an opening in administration. You know how it goes.
Your first day tomorrow?
Mind your step. Important research happening here. You have some good news for me? They sure are. I took a peek on the network. Saw that things have updated. Great job. You came through for me, so now I'll do the same for you. This slate has all the data Kelton needs. And because I am a man of my word, here are the extra credits I promised.
I hope we're not too late to avoid disaster. I hope you have the data. It's really quite crucial. You're absolutely right. I don't want to know. I'm sorry if this was complicated. I'd prefer to remain unaware of the details in the event that it comes up later, particularly in a legal setting. And I suppose I'd better verify the data to make sure Emilio didn't double-cross me. But you have once again come through for me. I'm truly hoping that this is the last piece I need to figure out what we can do. And I appreciate it. Thank you for your assistance. Oh, I was hoping we might run into one another again. Your timing is most fortuitous. I'm on the verge of something, but I don't quite have all the information I need. We're in uncharted territory here. It's inevitable. Of course, now that I understand more about what's going on, it seems plain as day. And yet I never would have imagined it before. The tertiary trunks have also liquefied their interiors, but they're not vibrating. I thought perhaps it was some sort of defect, but it's much simpler. They're listening. I don't. Not for sure. It's all a theory, certainly, but it is completely supported by the data and observation, like all good science. It's the best we have to go on right now. It means it is ready to reproduce. I believe this tree is sending vibrations out over massive distances and expecting to detect sympathetic vibrations in return. As of yet, there's been no response. I suspect that will not change, that a response is impossible, and that's very, very bad news. We're continuing to see an increase in the strength and frequency of the vibrations. I don't know how much more significant it will become. If there's no response, the tree may vibrate itself, and some nearby portion of the city, to destruction. Now, as of yet, there has been no response, and clearly none of the nearby individuals are a correct match. While it can't be ruled out that the intended recipient of these messages was cut down during the city's expansion, there is one other possibility. Over 100 years ago, the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective emerged from the Narian War. As a gesture of peace and goodwill, a near-literal olive branch, one of the trees from New Atlantis, was offered to the leaders of Aquila City. Certainly wouldn't have been my first suggestion. Something about the common roots of humanity or some such. Politicians and their metaphors. Of course you can't just uproot a native species and plunk it down on some other planet in a totally different environment and expect it to grow. Clearly no exobotanists were consulted ahead of time. The end result was wholly predictable. The tree died within a few short years. Clever, but no, not necessarily. The tree died, yes, but branches were kept. At least one still exists in the museum there in the city. If I had that branch, I could get DNA samples, and then using various data I've gathered, I could attempt to simulate a response.
We could then broadcast that response and hopefully calm down our friend here. But, as I say, I need that branch. I knew you would understand. The museum in Aquila City is under the supervision of one Miss Kassler, I'm told. I don't know anything about her, but hopefully she'll be willing to listen to reason and assist our cause. All right, off you go. We don't have any time to waste.
If you're looking to stay, Stone Road Inn will take care of you.
It's tough living here.
Is Solomon Cole really?
So you want to come here for a half day? Full day?
A half day. I talked with Miss Kassler, and she'll give a full guided tour.
I mean, no offense, but isn't it a bit small? And there's not as many attractions as I'd like.
Miss Kassler built this whole thing off donations and what she could throw together. It's not like Aquila's swimming in museums here.
Fine. But I want your class to write an essay about what they learned.
I was planning on that, ma'am. I don't think...
I have artifacts that date all the way back to the time of Solomon Coe himself. Welcome to the Coe Heritage Museum. I offer a brief tour, and I'm happy to discuss the city's history as well. Very well. People are proud of their history here, so we get more visitors than I was expecting. So it gets pretty busy here, especially with school field trips. That is not something I expected to hear today. I assume you're somehow associated with the United Colonies? I've received some odd messages of late.
A tree is upset?
You scientists are something else. Regardless, I can't just hand over museum property, and I must admit I'm not especially inclined to help the UC, or New Atlantis for that matter. Well, I'm afraid you've wasted your time because I'm not authorized, nor particularly inclined, to release any of our pieces. That includes 100-year-old tree branches. Sorry, but it's staying in storage. Hi! Please feel free to have a look around. It's the reason I started this place. I hear what you're saying, but I'm afraid it's out of the question. Handing over that branch is starting to look pretty good. I can't believe I'm doing this. Please return it in one piece.
Aquila City has what we need. Have you paid a visit to Miss Kassler in Aquila City? Well, I'm sure she'll get over it. Or perhaps you could simply avoid Aquila City. Maybe the entire Freestar Collective. No great loss there. Now, I just need a moment to analyze this and synthesize an audio response to our friend here. Right, so we'll feed in a sample. Now the program will incorporate the genetic and chemical makeup of the sample, extrapolating the size and structure of the original tree. This was put together rather hastily, so complete accuracy is impossible. But I'm hoping it's enough. And there it is. Our best hope for a positive solution to this mess. So, we now have a simulated response to our tree. All that's left is to play it. An excellent question. I have been wondering myself. I've been forced to listen to this SSNN kiosk chatter incessantly this entire time. I think it could be put to better use. We don't have time to go through the proper channels, but if you can find a terminal and get this uploaded into their system, it might do the trick. Perhaps, but desperate times, and all that. Certainly, if you have some other option, by all means, take advantage of it. But if not, well, this is our only option at the moment. Then I fear all this hard work will be for naught. I would hate to see this tree come down, but we may be out of options. I have no doubt that you will. We've done it! I'm already seeing reductions in the strength of the vibrations. The tree is calming down. I can hardly believe that worked. I did my best, but it's not magic. There are no guarantees. I don't know. We've been in uncharted territory this whole time. That doesn't stop now. With the immediate crisis hopefully over, I can slow down and review everything we've learned. And certainly, I'll be keeping a much closer eye on our friend going forward. And you have saved this tree and advanced our scientific knowledge of our environment. Noble work across the board. You have my gratitude and that of every citizen in New Atlantis, though they don't know it.